And it's up to them now. They better get rid of all the crutches today. It's up to them now to get out on the field and stand up to Kilkenny, because that's the game they wanted. Now they have it, and they better do it.
They better do it. OK, we're going to take a break here on the Sunday Game Live. More in our build-up to the Leinster hurling final right after that. Welcome back again to the Sunday Game Live as we look forward to the Leinster hurling final here at Croke Park. Now, we've already had one provincial title decided already this afternoon, and that was the Munster football final in Killarney between Kerry and Limerick. The full-time score in that match was Kerry 117, Limerick 114, and afterwards victorious Kerry captain Brian Sheehan lifted the cup. Very close in actual fact in that game. Limerick were leading for long parts of it, and it was still 114 to 114 close to the end. However, Kerry getting the victory in the end. Anyway, back to our featured match. Tomás Mulcahy, we were talking a while ago, just a few moments ago there, about the fact that Galway have still got 5 of the defenders that were there in 2005. Isn't that right, sir?
That's right, yeah. 5 the same.
You've been having a look at the Galway defence.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose everybody has spoken about Joe Canning and Damien Hayes for the last couple of weeks, but I think as a unit today, if Galway are going to win this, they've got to put the shackles down, certainly back in defence. And we're looking at the National League match here against Cork. I mean, in the first half period, there was a few goal score opportunities there for Cork. This is against Wexford and Nolan Park in the opening round of the championship. That should have been a goal. And then we moved on to Offaly, and there are leaking goals back there, you know. So you now have the wider open spaces in Croke Park, which is going to be a big test for that 6 back line. And this is something that you can't do against Kilkenny, Michael, is concede goals. And there's no better team in the country.
Seem like the defence seemed like it has improved, certainly through the league campaign.
Yes, you know, and I mean, I suppose, okay, maybe I'm nitpicking on the basis that they're conceding goals and stuff like that, but they're conceding goals to teams. I mean, Offaly got in there for 2 or 3 in the championship match in Portlaoise and stuff like that as well. But like, I mean, the reality is, I mean, they've been there for the last 5 years. They should know each other's play as a unit inside there as well. And I'm just saying, realistically, they need to keep the hold on that Kilkenny forward line. I think if Galway are going to win this match, it's not about Hayes or Mulcanning. I think it's defensively, because Kilkenny have so many aces up front. And we saw against Dublin the last in the championship, the ball was only thrown in, went up the field, and the ball was inside the back of the net. They can't afford to let that happen today.
No, and even if we go back to 2005, with 5 of those playing, they conceded 4-18 even on that day, you know. So
as well, you're going to the league. Galway and Tipperary were the tightest defence in the league, and look what happened Galway, and look what happened Tip below in Park Kilkenny.
Yeah, with the
league
so
and championship are completely different.
Yeah.
That's the big thing to
I mean, there's people have asked, maybe, I don't know, you probably know more. People have asked the question about John Lee. Why isn't John Lee in the equation here? I mean, I thought John Lee was one of their better players, minor kind of as well, and in stature and physique and stuff like that, maybe he's not fit enough.
I'd say, John, to be fair, early on the season, John Lee was doing exams. He got his medical exams, which was great. In the meantime, Tony O'Gregan came back from was being dropped, came in centre back. And I'd say, to be fair to Tony O'Gregan, he has done nothing wrong to be dropped. Now they tried John Lee the last year wing back, and he was caught for pace there. They have a more natural wing back in Collins, like, you know. So like, it's just that at the moment Tony O'G took his chance and he's on there and merit.
But you need players like Lee to win anyway if something's going wrong.
Galway have to have at least one.
One plan
Kelly of 10. You've been looking at the Kilkenny defence.
We're constantly looking for flaws in the Kilkenny team, and it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. But we'll grasp at a straw now that maybe there is a slight flaw in that full back line, especially with Noel Hickey coming back after the year out.
Yes.
And it seems that that maybe a bit of lack of pace here. Here he's taken on by young Rush from Dublin, and you see the big gap that opens, and the cover isn't back, and there's great chance for a goal there, which was missed. Now Kilkenny realised that the problem is here, and you see when the ball is coming through, the 2 wing backs, Tommy Walsh and JJ Delaney, are back covering into the full back line. Now sometimes in the second half the last day they took it to another extreme. Now Tommy was just out of this world, as I said the last day. He's what a player. Would we ever see a player like that again? But he's covering. They are the ones that save the full back line and avoid the full back line from being really tested. And the mistake a lot of teams make is they're not getting the ball fast enough into the Kilkenny full back line or into their own full forwards. Now if you see here, when the ball comes in, a slow ball coming in, and what have you there? JJ Delaney. Back from wing back, he's inside playing as a full back. And while he's inside playing a full back, the 2 midfielders, Mick Finnelly and Michael Rice, are covering their position outside. Now look at Tommy Welch, side of the edge of the square. He's everywhere. He's like a leprechaun coming out from under a mushroom. Whatever the ball is there, there's Tommy.
Joe, you'd have to
He's
wonder-
unbelievable.
Leprechaun, I can tell you.
And no leprechaun could strike the ball left and right like Tommy Welsh.
but the
But you have to wonder where the wing,
Fantastic.
you have to wonder where the wing forwards are today. I expect
But-
Andy Smith from
Yes.
Galway to pick him up.
That's
Smith
the
is
whole
very
thing.
physical, and he
That's the
keep
whole-
rattling him all day. Like, and I
Yeah.
think he will try to upset Tommy Welsh, not to get him. If Tommy Welsh gets on a roll like that and plays like Gerard says he plays,
Yeah.
which he does, Kilkenny are going to win. Galway will try to stop him and try to stop JJ from having that big influence on him. They'll have their wing forwards in hard, tackling very hard, and put them on the back foot.
Or else Cyril, you keep your wing forwards wide. Keep him out near the sideline. Make sure that Tommy can go back so that the ball comes to wing forward and take your scores from far out.
But I mean,
that is the definite way. Take your, but you see, Kilkenny's mantra is don't give away a goal no matter what.
But
They don't mind you getting the point, but they don't want you to give it to score a
The
goal.
aerial threat is the key thing for Kilkenny, the half-back
sure,
line
it's
as well. I mean,
yeah.
Tommy Walsh is a small man in stature, but how many times have we seen him
Oh,
going
yeah.
up over forwards,
yeah,
half
yeah,
forwards,
it's
no
brilliant.
matter what size they are,
Yeah.
catching ball, taking it out, and likewise on the other side, JJ Delaney as well. Absolutely fantastic to do that. You know.
It's
So
right.
for me, from a Kilkenny or from a Galway point of view, they got to keep it wide. Puck-outs have to be varied as well. Dropping ball short, dropping
Yeah.
ball down in front of them. Maybe bringing Joe Canning out to a situation where he has to come to wing forward, even at centre forward. Bring their big man, their strong player out, and put them under pressure in those key areas.
Yeah.
That's where it's going to be won, you know.
We all
Joe
agree with that, Tomas. The only thing we're saying is when Tommy Welsh and JJ are back inside their full back line, there has to be wing forwards loose outside.
Yeah.
And you have to use those and put the ball over the bar and be building up your scores. Don't be maybe a goal will come, but take your points.
Joe, I
The
think
crucial
will lads.
thing.
I think he'll act. I think he'll win centre forward today to kind of bring a bit of pressure
Yeah.
and try to get ball moving in fast if they can.
All right, okay, now let's take a detailed look at this afternoon's teams then. That's our cue to hand over to the commentary box where standing by are Ger Canning and Donal O'Grady.
Thanks, Michael. Whatever about the possible 5 in a row in September, Kilkenny today are going for 6 in a row here in Leinster. And for goalkeeper PJ Ryan, it's a return to Croke Park, where he hasn't conceded a goal in the last 2 championship games. His full back line is buoyed by the return of Noel Hickey, flanked by John Dalton and Jackie Tyrrell. The half back line has that usual steady look about it, with Tommy Welsh outstanding in the Leinster semi-final. Midfield was a dominant area for Kilkenny against Dublin. Once again today, it's Michael Rice and Michael Fennelly. There's a change at half forward where former hurler of the year Owen Larkin is chosen in place of Richie Hogan, and that on a day when Henry Shefflin plays for the Cats for the 50th time in the championship, having established a new championship scoring record here just 2 weeks ago. Alongside me, Donal O'Grady, your thoughts?
Well, Ger, as mentioned by the panel, I think Tommy Walsh is the big player for Kilkenny in defence. Excellent defender and great man to launch attacks forward, and a vital player, and Galway will have to get around him some way if they hope to win. And of course up in the corner forward then they've picked big Martin Comfort, 6'4". Maybe they've looked at Offaly and saw that Ali Canning was in trouble and going to launch in high balls to him.
Yep, possibilities there. Well, John McIntyre and his selectors were so concerned about injuries that they waited until the last possible moment to confirm their team. As expected, it includes Colm Callanan between the posts, beaten 4 times in the 2 Offaly matches. There may be concerns about the full back line, but it remains intact, with Ollie Canning the most experienced, playing in his 36th championship match. There were fears about the fitness of David Collins all through the week, but he starts, chosen to play in his usual left half-back position. With David Burke suspended, Adrian Cullinan has been chosen to come in and partner Ger Farragher. The half-forward line shows Aidan Hart picked in a line which includes Angus Callanan and Andy Smith. And in the full-forward line, the informed Damien Hayes lines up alongside Joe Canning and Eir Litanian. Donal.
Well, a big player for Galway today is David Collins, coming back after injury. He's big and strong, 6 foot and an excellent hurler, very natural wing back, so you know they'll be expecting big things from him. And of course up on the other side, Andy Smith, great worker, not a great scorer, but you know will give him the responsibility of keeping Tommy Walsh quiet today, and you know they'll have to have a big game from him if they hope to beat Kilkenny.
Big task. Thanks, Donal. So almost set for the 115th Leinster GAA hurling final, the first ever between Kilkenny and Galway. Michael.
It is indeed. It's a little bit of history here at Croke Park, as we've been saying earlier on this afternoon. Tomas, you want to have a look at Richie Power, Kilkenny's full forward, and talk about him a bit?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at Kilkenny, you talk of Shefflin, you talk of Eddie Brennan, maybe Owen Larkin over the last 2 or 3 seasons, and I think just the last couple of matches that I've seen Richie Power, I think there's a bit of a spring in his step again. You know, he's given this responsibility of maybe playing full forward today against Dublin. He looked awesome at times in possession, and he he isn't a small man in size-wise or physique-wise or anything. But what he has, his fierce awareness of bringing the other guys into the play, distributing ball, but a very good goal scorer as well, you know. And I think he could cause a few problems for Galway today, being honest with you.
Sir, let's talk about Galway, man. Another forward, Damien Hayes. Now, over the years, you know, in the last couple of years, Ollie Canning obviously has become the big, or Joe, I should say, the big talking point in Galway. But before that, I suppose, Damien Hayes was the guy that fellas look to so often. Could be brilliant, could be out of a game.
Yeah, well, this year...
Is he benefiting from Canning having the attention on him?
Well, I'd say he is a bit now, because this year he's been electric for both for club and county. He has great pace, great get goals. And would you believe, Cannon and Hayes don't live about maybe a mile apart.